I almost thought you couldn't.
Been a while.
Right. That'll be a special thing for the YouTube people, because I won't cut that.
No.
So everybody should be a YouTube person. Everything's falling.
Man. Should I just let it be? Or should I,
Yeah.
Yeah, let it be. All right.
Okay. That's rather off-putting to have all that happen.
Oh, what happened?
The things fall over.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure the music was going to start.
Yeah.
Which means I need a beer.
You do need a beer. Hello and welcome to the Moon Underwater Pubcast. I'm Kelly Daniels.
I'm Steve Jones. Thirsty Steve Jones.
Thirsty Steve Jones. You just ran a half marathon. I rode my bicycle for 100 miles.
That's more than a half marathon.
It is more than, yeah, but the wheels help.
Wow.
They kind of move you along. So
we call you guys cheaters.
We had there was a guy, I didn't really know him. He was friends with a lot of the people. There was one guy on an e-bike in this whole ride. There's like 27 people doing this long ride and one guy on the e-bike. And of course he's like passing everybody and then slowing down and passing. And then we stayed at a bar called Poopy's, which is a biker bar. Yeah, it's like a biker bar, motorized bikes.
He should wear his tie in.
And
not one of the places they would cut your tie off.
I don't know. I didn't see that. They didn't have any.
There's a place here in town that
they used to. Yeah,
they don't anymore.
It's closed. It's been closed for about a decade.
No.
Yeah, it's
Sneaky Pete's.
Sneaky Pete's. Yeah. Rest in peace, Sneaky Pete's. One of those things where the owner had like hundreds of thousands of dollars in back taxes, and the place could not pass any kind of inspection.
It was pretty filthy.
Yeah. You practically could see the rats kind of running by.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're at this bar. They let you camp for free there, and there's like a little BMX track around the outside of this like rough camping area. And the e-bike guy gets kind of hammered and starts just hammering it through the BMX trail on his e-bike. And sure enough, he ended up wiping out completely.
How many teeth did he lose?
I don't know. He was, the next day I saw him on crutches, but he was still alive and he wasn't in a hospital. And I guess the bike was completely totaled. So anyway.
Do you insure bikes?
Me?
Yeah.
No, you know what? Bicycles come with your home insurance if they get ripped off from your house or something.
What happens if you, let's just hypothetically say, trash your e-bike on a BMX track?
No, I don't think it's insured unless they took out insurance on it.
I mean, if it was expensive, you'd think you'd have insurance on it, but
maybe.
I don't know.
At any rate, hey, before we get into today's topic, I wanted to make an announcement. I may have said something about this before, and if so, apologies, but it's worth repeating. I did a guest spot on another podcast.
Yes.
And it is John, yes, but we're open podcast
we're very
here.
Open. Yeah.
It was still working on it, it's a work in progress. But no, I did an episode and it's up and live, and it's a great podcast called How I've Read by John Paul Scotto.
Nice.
And go over there, check out that podcast. It's really great. It's a literary podcast. It's about him reading just stuff he's read, and he just kind of chats about it.
Is this somebody you knew before or no?
No, he reached out to me, just kind of a networking email, just kind of cold call emailing people. And we both published in a magazine called The Sun quite a lot. And so he knew me because of that. So he just sent me a, hey, check out my podcast. And I said, hey, yeah, cool. And I listened to it. I liked it. And we just started corresponding. And he eventually invited me to record an episode, and so I talked about the Chronicles of Narnia.
Oh.
So
kind of fun.
Yeah, check her out. I
have so many questions about how this worked.
Sure.
See, you look like a nice 35-year-old man based on the picture on your website, and you have the youngest picture of you ever.
The website?
Yeah. You're
maybe
authorkellydaniels.com?
Yeah, maybe so, but I was certainly at least 45 when that was taken. So.
Okay, well, then you're ahead of the game. You look like you're about 35.
Yeah.
You look about 45 now.
That's nice of you to say.
That's about how old I am.
That's nice of you to say. But, I should probably get a more age realistic picture for my website. But yeah,
You
whatever.
squint, it looks like you. Anyway. Well, that's cool. Appreciate
So
that.
yeah, I just wanted to kind of get that out there, just to do right by Scotto,
Nice.
and also to all of our push some traffic over to that fine podcast. But
Sweet.
today we're
talking about something else.
I was talking about the Sun magazine, but today's topic is the moon.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, not bad, huh?
Clever.
So I'll tell you why. I watched this movie a long time ago. It came out in 2008, and I didn't hear anything about it before I don't know why I watched it. I watched it on like streaming, and I just remember being pleasantly kind of like sneaky interested in it.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a slow burn. It's not a flashy film. Low budget, $5 million.
Despite having Kevin Spacey pre-sexual abuse allegations.
Kevin Spacey was the voice of a robot.
Gertie 3000.
Gertie 3000, and the lead guy played Sam Rockwell.
Yeah. But
So-
that was the problem. It was Sam Rockwell was playing Sam Bell.
Sam Bell.
It was easy for me to remember
But he
his
also
name.
played himself twice.
Yeah.
But in two different versions of himself.
Right.
So anyway, I remember we really were both of us were pretty hard on Mickey 17, which happens to be our least listened to episode of all time.
Wow. So a lot of other people were
I think
impressed.
nobody saw the movie.
Yeah.
I think maybe they just looked at our title, which said it sucked right in the title. I think they're like, well, then why should I listen to these guys talk about this thing? Well, the reason why is because it's fun to listen to people bag on stuff or to have your own.
It was really close. I really feel like it was really close, and I was thinking about this today, so I have a lot of thoughts.
All right.
The first one is, I think it was supposed to be funnier than I thought it was.
Yeah.
And that it was really close on being really funny.
Yeah.
And that maybe that was the point. And that it wasn't the stupid, like there's a little action, but there was at least some, MacGuffin, right? The plot driver. And so,
Are you backtracking your negative?
no, it still sucked.
Yeah.
It was really close to not sucking, though.
Yeah. It was
Okay.
it was a valiant effort in a way. But anyway, it reminded me, like after thinking about Mickey 17,
Yeah.
I thought, wow, it's kind of the same plot of this other movie that I watched a long time ago, except this other movie plays it straight, and it's actually very kind of heavy and
It's
touching,
Very heavy.
and fucked up.
Yes.
You'd have to say.
Yes.
And I thought, let's drag that old movie back up, and we don't have to do a compare and contrast with Mickey 17. But I also wanted a movie that I liked. And at any rate, or at least that worked on its own terms, I think. And maybe that's what Mickey 17, I felt like it came up short on its own terms, like you said. As a funny movie, it just wasn't quite funny. And as a movie about
supposed to be funny.
as a silly plot, the plot didn't really come together. But I'm not going to...
No.
I've already beaten that horse. And but... So
This one's not perfect for me, but I liked it.
Sure. And it probably isn't, in my top 20 movies or anything like that, but I remember it being intriguing and trippy and kind of different in a lot of ways from other sort of sci-fi.
Sure.
Just because, so the bad reviews, I checked out a few reviews, and it got mostly quite good reviews, a few mixed. There was a couple of really bad reviews, and they both said the identical thing. They said it was just boring. But I thought, I didn't find it boring, but it wasn't fat. I mean, the pace went fine. There was a plot, but it wasn't a lot of action. It was a dude by himself tripping the fuck out because things are just not adding up.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So anyway, that's my kind of like first salvo over. You said that. What's your? I guess your overall take.
Yeah. So, God, my overall take was that it was supposed to be serious. It was supposed to ask particular questions that were uncomfortable, and kind of poses a grim view of the future, I would say.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Should we? Okay, so this is going to be like full on spoiler. And this is a movie where a lot of the suspense comes from just not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
Or did you think you figured it out pretty quickly?
Right away, I had thoughts, and we'll get to it.
Yeah.
But right away, there was a couple things I was like, nah, it doesn't seem right.
There were a few surprises. There was one surprise that I thought was really well handled. Geez, I don't know.
Gertie kind of led me to a certain way of thinking about this through a different lens. I thought about this more in terms of 2025, which is AI, versus 2009, where it was like that.
Yeah.
And so that played a big part of my like being able to see what was coming.
So Gertie is the ship's operating system or their LLM, really. But it had some capabilities. It had arms that would go around and could do stuff.
Right.
And it had an interface. Right from the start, one thing I liked about it is like you think of 2001 Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Everything is so like sparkling clean and antiseptic.
Yeah.
This place is filthy.
It's gross.
And it's a guy who's working.
A single guy.
Single guy working by himself. So it actually starts off with an interesting, like a commercial for this industry.
It was great.
And it's called Lunar Limited or something.
Lunar Industries.
Lunar Industries. Yeah. And they somehow mine rocks from the moon
Helium
that powers. What's that?
It was with helium-3 they were extracting. And so
does that make any sense to you, or is it?
No, but I've heard this recently. It was actually helium-2 and on the moon.
Okay.
So I don't know more than that. Maybe it's a change from 2009.
I'll just jump right out and say that everything about this movie, like, and you know me, I'm always kind of like looking for these kind of plot things, and I'm sure I could find some plot things that I might question, but I found it all pretty plausible. It seemed like.
Unbelievably scarily plausible.
Yeah, we could definitely have some company mining shit from the moon that is useful to us. And it would probably become a pretty grim job to be one of those people that has to be out there.
So, that to me.
So it's a single guy, just to set the scene, single guy with a bunch of automated stuff.
3-year contract.
3-year contract, and he's on this little moon base.
Yep.
And he's just there by himself with this robot named Gertie, and it's not like inhumanly disgusting, but it's not nice, and everything is kind of dirty. His spacesuit is
robot's
super
beat up.
The robot is beat up, has a bunch of Post-it notes on it.
Kick me.
Kick me on the back. We don't see that for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes really important, I think. It's one of the better moves of the movie.
Yeah.
Gertie is the best part of this movie, I think.
Maybe.
Okay.
Should we get into like...
Or the most interesting is what I guess I'd qualify that a little.
I would agree with that. And maybe, one of the things you have now put into my head, there's a question that you often ask or you'll bring up. Did you care about any of the characters? Like, the kid, nobody in Jurassic Park you could feel any empathy for. And in this, halfway through the movie, I'm like, not really.
I cared about the guy. I mean, he's getting so fucked over. Like, everything about him is just...
How do we arrive there? This is really kind of a hard reveal.
Yeah. So, well, everybody, we've already kind of opened it by saying it's a lot like Mickey 17.
Right.
So it's a movie in which the premise that you kind of slow burn realize what's going on. Some people probably catch it earlier than others. It is for whatever reason, this corporation starts just cloning
someone.
Turns out by the end, it's this guy who was the first one to do this job, and then they just cloned him. They have hundreds of these cloned bodies waiting to replace him. The clones are made to last 3 years.
Yep, and they start falling apart.
They get sick and die.
There's one that's falling apart.
Yeah.
One of the 2 clones.
And instead of going home like they think, they just kill them.
Right.
And they're dying anyway. And the clone, so the plot, like, here's what I say to my students, like, why are you writing about today? How is today different from every other day that's happened in this situation?
Godforsaken world.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so what happened is that the clone guy, he's about to go home. He's got a wife. He's got a kid.
Okay, that's where I immediately, as I'm watching this, right at the beginning, he's talking to the wife and kid, and I'm like, it's bullshit. It's AI. And I feel like I was vindicated later on.
Yeah. Well, yes and no. Well, the videos were actually her.
The videos were her, but they had a conversation, but they didn't. They were talking in one of them.
No, they never were, because they made sure that the satellite is always out.
Always out. Okay.
So that's when I kind of knew, wait, that's fishy, that there's no direct communication. They only can communicate with recordings back and forth.
Got it.
And so I'd seen the movie before.
I was thinking AI at that point is what he's seeing.
Yeah.
Like it, and in 2009, I don't know that we would have thought that ever, anybody.
Yeah.
Few people. But
I would not have probably.
Not me.
I thought, watching it this time, I thought, oh, they hired an actress to make these videos and it's scripted. But it's not that. It's just that they're reusing the videos that were like 20 years old.
Right.
And I knew right off the bat that, the guy's like, how come this satellite's still out? I'm like, because they can't have him talking to people live because he's a liability.
Right.
This is just really wildly unethical thing to be cloning these people who are fully people who believe that they're regular guys. The memories are implanted in them in the same way that Mickey 17 was.
Well, and they did make a comment that I really liked, because Gertie explains it later because he has to. DNA duplication causes errors, and it can cause changes in personalities and other things. And it's because the new guy, who's like the new Sam Bell, because they think that the one that we open with is dead. Yeah. And then new Sam Bell starts to get an idea that something's going on. Yeah. And then goes out and finds his cloned self outside in a
I forgot, just talking about the plot. The thing that gets it going is that the guy crashes his little moon rover that goes and picks up the energy packets from these like big harvester things, right?
Yep.
And he is just thinking about his wife, and also he's just kind of thinking things are getting weird, and he's starting to get sick, because that's what happens to them at the end of their 3-year life cycle. And he crashes, and then all of a sudden he wakes up in the infirmary.
Right.
And the guy, and then he gets up, and he's not supposed to get up yet. Gertie's like, no, you rest more. Right. But he gets up and he overhears Gertie having a direct conversation with like the boss, the handlers, the managers of this project. And they're like, hey, you lost one of our transports and one of the workers. And it's like yelling at Gertie, like Gertie is the boss of this place.
Right.
And it's a computer.
Yeah.
And the computer definitely, Gertie makes decisions. He lies.
He does.
He has Kevin Spacey's voice, which is a very soothing voice.
It is.
And I thought the biggest surprise of this movie for me, and the most pleasant one, I thought for sure, and the movie definitely made it seem like this, that Gertie was going to become a monster robot that's going to start fucking with these guys.
Yeah.
But by the end, he ends up being the hero robot.
Sam, I can't do that.
Yeah. And they act like, because at one point he bumps into Sam, and it looks like, he's going to be kind of violent. And he's got all these pincher hands that kind of go around.
And he could be violent.
Yeah. But he doesn't. And at one point, so anyway,
we have Sam 1, Sam 2, and Gertie.
Yeah, so Sam 2 wakes up, and he is robust and buff and in great shape because he's a brand new clone.
Right.
And they're feeling good, and he's working out. But things are weird, and he overhears him talking to so he is like just getting the sense that something's not making sense.
Right.
And so he talks Gertie into letting him out, even though Gertie has been told not to do that.
Right.
So Gertie is like disobeying his
But
orders.
Gertie can be convinced.
Yeah.
So I need to be able to go outside to check to see if there was, meteorite damage. There's
Yeah.
no meteorite damage, Sam.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, there could be.
Yeah.
And that's why I need to go look. Well, if you insist. It's almost HAL 9000.
Yeah.
It's got a little HAL in it, but Kevin
Yeah.
Spacey nails it. It's great.
He does. But Gertie explains what his directive is at the end. And I think that really saves a lot of questions I had.
Okay.
But anyway, but before
What's
we
the directive?
What's that?
What's the directive?
He says, I have it written down. The Sam 1 is like, you went against your company's wishes by doing this or that, by letting me do this. And he said, thank you, or something like that. He goes, helping you is what I do. And that's it. He's aligned. Somewhere in his programming was, you need to help these
Sam.
things.
Yeah.
And this brings up this idea that I've heard from the people that are worried about AI, is that term of misalignment problem. Have you heard that?
I have.
Of course. But this is like misalignment in the right way, because he's misaligned against the company's interest, but toward the individual worker.
Or maybe he's lying and he's really just aligned to his own.
Yeah. How could he be
Not
that?
a question that in 2009, I thought it was 2009, not 8. But anyway,
Maybe.
2008, 2009, not a question that a movie in that era I don't think was
No.
asking or answering. Yeah. So I would agree.
So anyway, Sam 2 finds Sam 1, who's like stranded out, and they're sending a new crew in to essentially clean up the mess. And he finds Sam 1 and rescues him. Like, he's not dead.
Right.
And he's like, oh my God, we look exactly the same. And they're not friends at first.
No. You're a clone. No. You're a clone.
You're a clone of me, and they're just, and one of them, the older clone, is older. Like, he is quicker to accept what's going on.
Yes.
And he's more mellow about it. And
Ooh, I missed that. Yeah, that's
he
true.
is. He's just more kind of sanguine, and yeah.
But like, maybe it's the accelerated aging, right? Because he's the one that's dying.
Yeah.
And so he's like, well,
He's more mature.
this is what it is.
Yeah. And the movie is largely about both of them in their own time accepting what they are.
The other guy was a dick.
Yeah, at first.
And then he was really sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was mean. Sam 2 was mean at first, but he was also, like, young. And
Yeah.
he's, like, really in great shape, and Sam 2 is, like, visibly dying. Like, his face is all purple, and
They puff him up in the cheeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it looks bad. And, yeah. And so they're both in there, and then Gertie just, at one point, just tells the truth, because Sam 1 goes, what, am I a clone? And at first he won't answer.
He won't answer.
And
Yeah.
Gertie has a little interface that is just a little screen that has a smiley face, a straight, like
Back when
no
emojis were kind of new.
emojis, and then a frown face, and then it even has like a big smile face with teeth, and then at one point it has like a frown with tears.
Yeah.
That one was kind of funny, and I think it was intentionally comical, because it's when Sam 1 finds out that his wife isn't real,
Right.
that he doesn't have a wife, he doesn't have a kid.
Right.
He's just this fake thing that was invented. But they keep telling each other that they're people, and that's kind of what it is, and what the, I guess, idea of the movie
I
is
thought
that
so.
these are people.
Yeah. And that I have felt like before at work that somebody wanted me to clone me to give to them. And it's like, okay, we have you for another month. What we need you to do is teach this person everything you know. And I'm like, I know like 17 years of like I can't a
Yeah.
month. You know how long they need? Probably 17 years.
Yeah.
That's not. And so this was I connected on that I was like, oh, I get it. Like they
Yeah.
want them, and well, we need you here, and we need you working, and this in particular, the fact that it was really 3 years was like the max.
Yeah.
That was going to happen before the clones fell apart, and that got to me. Like that
So-
was sad.
It was sad. It's not much of a life. And Sam 1 was quite characterized in that he kind of was making this big model of his hometown.
Yeah.
And we eventually find out that it was already partially made when he started working on it. And it didn't quite occur to him, like, wait. But that's the other thing. He's just, they say that when they wake up, they say, oh, you've had an accident. And you may have had some, like, mild brain damage. Yeah. But so you have some memory loss. And that's how they get him into the situation. But he also had this little greenhouse, and he was doing all this planting, and he would talk to his plants.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the movie took pains to make him a sympathetic character and kind of a sweet guy in a way. Yep. And he obviously like lived for these little transmissions from his wife. And so I thought it was pretty gut-wrenching when you realize that it's all fucking a lie. Like
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like this like happy little puppy dog to talk about his wife. And they have dreams about her, including a sexy dream, which, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't a very sexy movie, but they did have
some sexy time.
One little part that was. All
right, so this movie, I feel like, is not asking the question at the end of what are we going to do? Like, what do they want them to do with the clones that are left? Do they either never get to live, or do they all get to live and they get to live their 3 years? And this feels like a political fight in the waiting to happen. Like, no, they're not people. Yes, they're people. Like, it sounds like something else that's, very hot button political
I didn't
issue.
think about that.
I just thought about it now. I'm like, oh shit! Like, what do they want to do with them?
There was a lot of them, but it also
there was hundreds,
and it took quite a bit. It's very much at what moment does life start?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
So the Catholic Church is going to jump in, and
man,
no, the Catholic Church is going to go no soul. We already talked about this in Mickey 17. God was not going to give a soul to a clone,
even though there's already clones, twins. So twins don't have souls. Identical twins are genetic clones of one another.
Well, one of them has a soul. The other one,
debatable. Humanity. The moon underwater coming. That we've come down on the side of we're anti-twin.
Yeah. It's a fairly small demographic.
There goes
though.
half our audience. Hey yo. I don't know. Yeah.
So anyway, that's a good question, man.
The only kind I asked.
What happens is it's this kind of slow burn question about they're both figuring things out, and then Gertie just kind of stays out of it. But when they directly ask him, he starts more and more
helping. Yeah.
Just and then he finally is given. What he does is that one of the Sams, probably Sam 1, is trying to get into a database, into a computer to figure stuff out, his own file. And then Gertie shows up and then gives him the password and types it up.
Doesn't say anything.
No.
An arm shows up next to him, and it's like, oh, he's trying to stop him from, nope, click.
Yeah.
Very slowly and deliberately touching each key with a single finger. It was great.
It was great. And that's when he said later, why did you give me that password? He goes, helping you is what I do.
That's right.
Later, they find all the clones, they're hidden, and then there's like this place that was supposed to be like the cryogenic sleep chamber that you go to sleep in before you wake up back on Earth with your wife. And it's just this killing little chamber.
Right.
It's pretty fucked up. It's the one thing that's nice and clean. And so they find the whole plot, and there's hundreds of clones down there just ready to be. And these guys are coming, and they realize, and they showed a picture of the team that's coming to clean up the mess and fix the broken equipment. But what they're really there to do is to get rid of the
Right.
clone that crashed.
Right.
You can't have two clones finding out. And so these guys are going to kill both of them.
Yep.
And so they need to kind of figure out what they're going to do about these people. I thought, and I didn't remember the movie that well from way back when I watched it, and it doesn't actually suit the movie at all, but I thought they're going to have to kill these three guys and steal their ship or something.
Yep.
Because I remembered what finally happened. And this is the big spoiler, is that one of them gets back to Earth to tell the story.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it's out there, there's like a little news headline that the company's stock plunges 35% in one day, and that congressional hearings and all that kind of stuff. And because it's happening literally on the dark side of the moon.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
I feel like I should ding that.
we could dark side of the we could get away with it, you know?
Yeah.
So I do have one plot question.
Okay.
And it didn't ruin the movie for me or anything, but why did you need a human there at
Thank you.
all?
Hold on.
Everything could be automated pretty easily.
So I was like, they automated everything else. What is he there for?
All he does is grabs the little energy packets and then manually
drives them back.
And drives
there's no need.
Yeah, robots could clearly do that easily,
And we wouldn't have a movie. So
yeah, and
otherwise it's
probably,
Gertie by himself.
It almost feels like these clones are cheaper than building robots and having to fix
there's
them.
Hundreds of them. Yeah. And there were thousands.
Yeah.
And then I started doing the math. I'm like, so for the next 1,000,000 years, they're good on the moon? How much of the moon is left in 1,000,000 years if you keep mining it like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
These were dumb questions that I was asking.
Were there thousands? It
like
was a
there was
hallway,
thousands, and it looked like there was multiple rows.
Yeah,
and it went around a corner, and I'm thinking 3 years.
But also, they have to keep those things alive. Those meat bags, right? I mean,
how do they know that next year there's not a better way to clone this guy? And now you got all these hundreds of clones, let's say, that aren't good anymore. Now this plot hole is getting bigger.
Yeah.
That part irritates me.
Best not to think about it.
Yeah. I mean, every year, hopefully, we have better tech, better capabilities, better.
Yeah.
So how come you ordered so many fucking clones?
It doesn't seem like good business practice, but like you said,
it's fun to overthink it.
It does seem. Okay, here's the bigger idea. If there was this energy company that had some fucking terrible way to save some money,
they totally would.
They would do it
without.
I think that's really what it's about. It's like if they wanted to. Yeah, if that actually would save them a couple bucks.
They'd be like, wow, it's just a clone.
Yeah, yeah.
They thought they lived up until that point. They got 3 more years and they're good.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I'm seeing it from the company's point of view. Yeah. It's good. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. And so they finally have to figure out what to do. And the clones are pretty smart. They're not dumb at all. And once they figure out what's going on, and they also have different personalities, and one of them is old and dying, and the other is kind of young. And
I didn't notice. I just saw one is feeble, and I thought maybe that's how he started, and the other one is
no. I think he got there. But he also said they also are like, I have to work on my anger, but everything about them is just the implanted stuff from the original guy,
right?
And but they're sort of.
They're all a little different. They're like kids.
They're taking themselves seriously because they have to. At one point, they're driving. Okay, so I think it gets it's kind of sad. It's a sad movie.
It is sad.
The two guys one of them figures out the plan. He's like, okay, we need to wake up a new clone.
Yeah.
and then we need to put a body in the Moonlander
We're
thing.
putting the new guy up there.
Yeah, that was what he was saying. But then Sam 1 is like, no,
Sam 1 who's dying
yeah,
is like Sam 3 can just chill in here.
Yeah.
And you go get out of here.
yeah. One of them is just going to be put in the little drones that get shot back to Earth with the battery, the material that they're mining. So that's the plan. But then the dying guy's like, no, you know what?
I'll go ahead and die here.
And he said it. He's like, at first, he's like, I feel like staying anyway. And it's really sad. And he's like, look at me. I don't want to.
Yeah.
My daughter will see me. She'll like. It's like, no, it's your dad. You're your dad. Like but they're driving out to deposit him in the Moonlander thing and die.
Yeah, right.
And they're driving. It goes, hey, remember how we met Tess, the wife? And they're like, oh yeah, she was. And they have all these memories of the original guy, but it's all they got. And they're like, it's this really tender moment. And so they, drop the one guy off.
Are you saying it was a love story between a man and himself?
Kind of. It was, yeah.
I kind of like that. Oh, that's the joys of being outside. There's a bee buzzing around Dr. Daniel's head. Is gone now.
It was more of a waspy kind of thing.
Oh, so now it was a wasp? I don't.
It was not a bee. It wasn't like bees are like brown. This was like that bright yellow, that construction.
I thought maybe it was like had an Episcopal church thing on it or something.
I know you're
Nice.
punning on it.
Nice.
But yeah.
Could have played along. Yeah.
I just didn't want to grace that one with. I thought it was sacrilegious. I don't think
I like it.
I don't like playing identity politics in this podcast.
No, we love to do it.
We do. Yes.
Okay, let's see. What else do I have?
So anyway, they pull it off at the end, but at the end, Gertie kind of comes up to.
I got a Gertie thing. Go ahead.
Comes up to Sam 1.
Yeah.
And maybe Sam 2 by this time.
Could be. Who's kind of growing up.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, no, it's Sam 2. And he goes, your plan, I'm worried for your safety. Your plan won't work because they'll find everything you've done in my memory cache. And he goes, if you, something like,
you got to wipe it out.
If you reboot me, I can wipe it all out and you could reboot me. And he goes, oh, okay, because is that okay? Like, I mean, it's kind of weird because it's sort of like in some way killing Gertie.
Yeah.
And Gertie's fine with it. Like, oh no, whatever, this version of me.
Did you ever see the show The Good
over.
Place?
What is it?
The Good Place.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I
it's
love
like
that, yeah.
Janet with the button.
Yeah. Don't do it. No, please.
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep saying that.
Yeah.
You just have to go ahead and do it. It's fine. That's a little bit of a Gertie thing there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then at the end, Gertie turns his back on him.
He does.
And there's this little
There's the
post-it
kick me
that
sticker.
said, kick me. It's just always been there. And he flips the switches to shut him down, and then he walks away, and then he goes back and he takes the Post-it note off.
does.
Like, it's
Like,
so touching.
It was good. Yeah.
And then he finally gets back to the planet, and he's got 3 years to live, but he's gonna, he's completely ruining this industry.
Right.
The clone industry is going to be ruined, at least for a while.
I had other questions, by the way. Why weren't they good at the same stuff? The clones. Like, there was my favorite scene, only because ping pong was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It was a great scene. It was shot really well, cool technically. It's someone playing ping pong with themselves. But in this case, Sam 1 was way better, light years better at ping pong. Now, was that because he was there on his own?
Yeah, it's explained. because after they play, and the one guy, so Sam 1 is like, do you want me to show you how to hold the paddle? He's like, no.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, 20-2. And then Sam 1 like kind of walks away, and he goes, hey, and then he folds the table up to where you can play by yourself.
Right.
And he goes, I find it meditative. So for 3 years, he's been playing ping pong by himself against a wall. That's why he's good. And that's why the other guy is not. He's never done it.
But it feels like you needed Sam 1 to show Sam 2 how it's done. And therefore, how come Sam 1 knew how it was done?
I think that I think the idea is just practicing.
Okay.
If you just have 3 years and just all day, every day for 3 years, nobody to talk to, and you have a ping pong table, you're going to figure out that, you can bounce it against its own,
Yeah. Okay.
And then eventually, by trial and error, you're going to get better. And maybe there's a video on how to do it. I mean, I don't know.
They need YouTubes up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That was one question I had. I was like, okay.
All right. That's.
And then the same with the village that he was making out of.
Yeah.
He was doing the okay.
Meaning, how did he do it, or how did?
Yeah. No. Like he just that seems like a skill that you would pick up earlier in life.
Yeah.
Before maybe you got to the moon, and then started building the little town that he spent 936 hours approximately on, according to Gertie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe he had some genetic memory of the original Sam.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess if those two things, that maybe if the original, I don't know, it's nature, nurture kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, why don't we take a little break and let's
do it.
Oh, wrong one. That was. Thank you very much, folks. Thank you. Here we go. All right.
Hey, folks. Let's take a break. So while you're topping off your pint, we've got a quick bit of housekeeping. If you're enjoying The Moon Underwater, do us a solid. Leave us a good rating and review wherever you listen, Apple or Spotify. It really helps more people stumble into our cozy pub of books, films, and conversation. And don't keep it to yourself. Tell a friend or share the show on your socials. Speaking of, you can find us on Instagram and Threads at The Moon Underwater Pod, YouTube at The Moon Underwater Pubcast, Twitter and Blue Sky at The Moon Underwater, and Letterboxd at TMUW Pod. We're posting updates, extra thoughts, and the occasional pub-related nonsense. So join us there. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or if you just want to say hi, write us at theguys@themoonunderwaterpubcast.com. All right, back to your regularly scheduled pints and paperbacks.
Paperbacks?
Yeah, well, pints. They both start with P. Alliteration.
That's it. I have a question.
Yes.
Not movie related. There appear to be, please look on the YouTube, it says on our PBR caps, it's like they're playing cards.
Yeah. So last time I was here, I ordered a Pabst, a PBR, and the guy came up and he goes, "Hey, if you guess the card, you get a free beer."
I want to play that game.
I know.
Like what?
They didn't. I think Kyle, as well as he takes care of us, he didn't.
He did not want to play that game.
Well, he did give us a bucket.
I know.
And ice and
let's open them all up right away and let's see. I thought here's where my head is.
Are we supposed to play against each other?
Right. And so the question that I have is, what do you have to drink 5 in order to have the right amount of cards to play?
We could do blackjack.
Oh,
but then you have to buy a beer to hit.
Yeah. Well, that's what we got to do. We got to do it.
So we have, 3 beers. Did you bust already?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I would have gotten. It was these two first, so I would have gotten a 20.
Ooh.
I know, but then I got a 10. So anyway,
I'm sitting on 16.
Oh, here I'm thinking it was like all face cards and 10s because I rule.
No, you got good ones, huh?
Yeah. Let's see. I may have more on this movie.
Yeah,
Let me
go
look
for
at
it.
the
I
old
hit all my
notes.
big points, but like I said, I didn't. This isn't like, oh my God, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen. But I thought it was a quiet movie that really worked on its own terms, like I said before. And I think maybe the score did a lot of work in terms of making it feel tense and
Ominous,
suspenseful.
creepy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think that without that music score, it would have been just a guy walking around a space station by himself.
The music
a
was
lot.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it worked well. I thought the production was really good. I guess the only other thing I have are reviews, and I didn't read a whole lot of them, but
I
I
didn't
just
read
kind of
any.
glanced.
And what did those say?
Well, I was just kind of browsing them for. I just, yeah. Let me see if I can. The positive ones really just said it was a really wonderful kind of sleeper movie that didn't really get a lot of fanfare, and it was fairly low budget, and it both looked great, sounded great,
Yep.
well acted,
Yep.
and
Sam
had it-
Rockwell was great as
Yeah.
both
And they were
Sam
ver-
1 and Sam
yeah.
2 and Sam 3
Yeah,
laying on the
yeah.
table.
and the Wall Street Journal had a mostly positive review, but was it Wall Street Journal? Yeah, but it maybe it had a mixed review, and it said it wanted to make, and I disagree with this quite a lot. It said there was such an opportunity to make a point about corporate greed, and it just really just didn't dive into that.
No.
And I'm like,
No.
I do not want any grandstanding.
No way.
Like any editorializing.
Don't ruin it
Yeah,
by
thank
doing
you,
that.
Wall Street Journal
And Wall
editorial
Street Journal,
page.
by
like,
the way, like speaking of corporate grandstanding, but I digress. I mean, come on.
No, I thought that it was perfectly. I got everything I needed to know about this fucking company. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't need
Right.
Like,
they have. I'm gonna go with 1,000 clones that live for 3 years each. So you can go ahead and do that math.
yeah.
That, like, they're willing that they see as expendable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so there was that, and then the two negative, like really bad reviews, which there weren't a ton of major newspaper reviews. I was looking at Metacritic, and so a couple of really bad ones kind of screwed up their average score, which was generally favorable rather than universal praise. And I
okay.
thought this would have been up there in the universal praise. I just
Yeah.
thought it was good enough for that, like 80%.
Oh yeah.
But it got a terrible review that said it was the most boring movie that I've ever watched or something. I'm like, and it was
Wow.
16 out of 100, which is like,
That's
it's
an interesting score.
well,
There was a lot that was really
think-
good with it. A lot of scenes
Oh, yeah.
that were okay.
It-
One of the things that
and
I
then
want to touch on.
so, and it was the Christian Science Monitor. So
that
those
checks out.
guys, yeah,
So the password scene itself.
they're no wasps.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that
Well.
much. Yeah.
Well, they just canceled us.
Oh, great.
I know.
What are the Christians? Why do the Christian Scientists have a major newspaper?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
And why does anybody read it?
What? But also,
Why is it
no,
included in Metacritic?
No, it's considered one of the
What?
great newspapers. Yes, it always has been. It's up there with like.
By who? Other Christian scientists?
No, it is a major American newspaper.
No, it's not.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Google it,
You're
man.
fucking me.
Oh no,
Like-
it's up there with like L.A. Times, Chicago Sun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a
God.
Christian Science Monitor. For whatever reason, it's not. No, okay, nobody's in the class of New York Times. Everybody's one step below that in mainstream media kind of like hierarchy. But Christian Science Monitor is one of the.
It's
You know.
close.
Oh yeah, it's really. They've got a big budget. They do investigative reporting.
Who's investing in the like who? Oh my god!
The Christian Scientists, I guess.
How many of them are there?
I don't know.
Maybe
I've
they're more
never,
robust and they've
I
got a
have
point.
never
That's-
understood this,
I
and
don't
I've
know.
never looked it up. But maybe it's something worth.
If you're a Christian scientist,
please
please.
write us
Yeah.
and explain why
Yeah.
the Christian Science Monitor
the guy
is there. Yeah, and if you don't like what we have to say, you can come onto the podcast and defend yourself.
coward. Yes. Okay. All right. One of the things that I enjoyed, the other scene that I really enjoyed was the password scene where we've got Sam trying to enter the password in.
Yeah.
And I meant to come back to this earlier, but whatever. It seemed like an expensive scene. The robot movement was perfect. It must have taken forever to shoot. And it looked perfectly robotic and never had me questioning, who's in the background running it. It's like, this is real. And I love it when a movie does that. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, holy shit, how did they do that? And it's probably simple, but it looked really good. So like visuals I thought were cool. The music.
What was the part again? I was looking at
he's entering the past where you're looking at
these PBRs have.
And now we're at 2 beers in, 2 and a little. And so
I'm so sorry, man.
It's amazing.
No,
what was the scene where Sam needs the password typed in and Gertie comes up, and that I was thinking about that. I'm like, how long and how the fuck did they shoot that?
Really?
And yeah, because that would take a day. And
wait,
it's just
could you see the whole
scene.
robot arm doing it?
It was the hand coming down, but it looked perfect.
Yeah.
It looked really good.
But also that scene was amazing because then they toyed with Gertie being eventually getting violent, and they messed with us.
A really good, a really important scene.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. And those arms, there's a bunch of them all through the
like Dr. Octopus. Kind
of. And they very much could be pinchers that could really hurt you.
Like Dr. Octopus.
Yes, will hurt you apparently.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Oh, there was a bit of a cameo. I don't know if it was a cameo in 2009 though. Matt Berry. Did you catch it?
No.
He worked for. I don't
know who Matt Berry is. It sounds.
He's the guy that was in the IT Crowd.
Who looks like you?
Yeah. Well,
you're like a skinny Matt Berry.
I used to look just like him.
Yeah, Matt
Maybe
Berry
when this
is
podcast
great.
started.
So okay, Matt Berry.
He's great. Come on this podcast.
There is a. We'll put you up in my basement.
Or mine.
Yeah, you have a nice basement.
Yours is nicer.
Is it really?
I don't know. I think so.
I like that. You have a nice.
I work in my basement.
Oh, okay.
You don't want to come to work with me, Matt.
My kid hangs out in my basement.
Oh, so
yeah. But
so it smells like feet.
Yes. He was in. There's a little known and hard to find, The Toast of London.
Okay.
It is so funny.
And he has a really amazing voice.
Yes.
The way that he speaks is very, hello.
The Toast of London, he is a really famous or successful Shakespearean actor who has fallen on hard times, and now he's kind of a joke and does like voiceovers.
Pretty good.
And it's really, really silly, over-the-top humor, very, it's great.
What is it? What We Do in the Shadows?
Yeah.
He's in that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he was in this movie?
He was. Yeah, he was the boss who was like sending the message and
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I wrote
my
it down.
goodness.
I'm like, oh my God, it's Matt Berry.
Now that is worth listening to this whole episode.
It is.
To learn that.
It is. Because I think, Oh, there's one more scene that I thought was fun.
All right.
There's the classic clone fights himself scene.
Yeah.
It was great.
Well, and they constantly made you think that there was some violent thing was going to happen, and it never did. Like, the guy had an X-Acto knife.
The fight was not very dramatic.
No.
And the guy had an X-Acto knife, yes.
But he didn't use it.
Sam won.
Yeah.
Or it's probably like Sam, 88.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not. Because there was still hundreds of clones left. And it had only been a few years.
The guy was still alive.
The guy was still alive, and the daughter was 15.
Yeah.
And she was 3, so we can do the math.
But the Tess died kind of young, huh?
Oh, there's the spoiler.
Yeah.
Because he finds out the wife is dead.
He calls
and covers up the video.
Yeah. He goes outside the range of these jammers.
Yep.
They figure this out, that they're intentionally, all the communication is intentionally being cut off. So they drive outside the range, and the guy breaks out like this cool, really heavy-duty laptop calling device, and he calls this. I'm not going to be a bitch about it, but this is a little bit of a plot thing. Like, you're going to call from the moon to Earth a stranger. First, where do you get their number? And they answer the phone.
Wait a minute. You would know your own number.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but it's the same number, like fucking 20 years later. I don't know. Okay. So he calls, and a 15-year-old girl answers a strange call that's coming from the moon.
Well, she doesn't know it's coming from the moon.
But why wouldn't you? Okay.
I mean,
in this world, you don't have.
There's only one guy on the moon, or
I know.
that are asleep.
But every call I get, it'll say like either unknown number or it'll say like from Iowa.
So you're thinking, unknown number, the moon.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
That, and I would think she'd be like, "Fuck no."
Right.
And then, then she answers. So there's that, and yeah, like fine. The movie doesn't work if she doesn't answer, but she answers. Right. And she really talks to him for a while.
She does, for not knowing who he is.
And he's like, "Oh, sweetheart." He's like this grown-up man talking to a 15-year-old girl going,
right.
"Oh, sweetheart." Like, I would think she'd be, ew, gross. But she's like, "Hey, Dad." And the dad's still there, and that's when he hangs up. But he finds out that Tess is dead. But his progenitor, you know what? His, like, the Sam, what's his last name?
Bell?
Sam Bell. The original Sam Bell is still alive.
Right.
That's almost another, like sneaky plot point. It's the meeting your God kind of thing because they all come from him.
Right.
And, everything they know.
Do we know if he agreed to it?
We don't know that.
I was thinking about that as a question.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, well, what if I agree to it? I don't care what those assholes do. I mean, whatever.
I wouldn't.
Would you clone yourself?
Like the idea of like.
Maybe we need to watch Multiplicity.
Yeah, I would do it for
pizza,
that.
Steve.
I haven't seen the movie, but I know the premise. I would clone myself to do work.
So basically, this movie's the serious version of Multiplicity.
Yeah.
I think that's where.
So there's another movie or television show, a series. I think I told you about where a guy gets to have a sort of a wellness thing, but okay, it's not Paul Rudd. It's somebody like him, Jason Bateman, I think.
Okay.
It's one of those guys. They seem like similar guys.
Basically the same guy.
And
come on this show.
And one of them is a loser. In this one, he's a loser, and he wants to. There's this moment where he's unemployed, and he's like keeps looking at porn on his phone,
as one does.
And at one point, he's like, "What am I doing?" And you think he's like gonna have this, but he projects it to the big screen TV.
Amazing.
But he answers this ad to like reboot your life and makes you better or whatever. And he shows up and it's this shitty little strip mall. And Tom Brady walks out of it. He's like, "Oh man,
why have I seen this?
It's great. It's really
funny. I swear
funny.
I've seen this.
It's like an HBO thing or something. It's I don't remember. I watched it in a hotel and just like the first couple episodes, and then I forgot about it. But here's a spoiler, and you learn it pretty quickly, is what they do is they just kill your original body and clone you into a better, but genetically make you better.
I might take that.
And the original guy survives their attempt to kill him. They just take him outside of town and like bury them, and it's funny. So the two guys kind of like confront each other, but one of them is superior to the other. But he also is like finally giving the wife like the great orgasms that she's always wanted, and that kind of thing. Like,
I mean, you know what? This sounds like I'm okay with me being buried. Next me will be amazing.
Yeah, you'll be better. That's
so
self-improvement.
It makes me
self-help.
Makes me think that maybe one of the things we ought to talk about at some point is Westworld.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
Pick out some episodes.
Yeah.
I need to watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's pretty good. I didn't watch the whole series, or the whole, I don't know how far to go. We could do it.
We keep one.
We keep coming up with more stuff
I
to
know.
watch. It's kind of like the clones. We got more than we need. We're only going to live so long. We should
I
start
know.
thinking about that. Our mortality.
I've already thought about that way too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting old really sucks.
Does it?
Beats the alternative.
That's right.
No.
And well,
With that,
I feel like
I'm good.
I don't even know what button to push at this point. Is that it?
It's the one.
Got it right. By the way, Steve, I figured out why I'm turning knobs the wrong way. You ready for this?
Dying to hear it.
I'm a big kitchen guy. I'm a cook guy. I'm a male that is really in the kitchen a
Me
lot
too.
and in the grill.
Yep.
Kitchen stove things and grills go the opposite direction of.
Not in my house, they don't.
Yeah, they do. So they go left is higher flame. Wait. Is it
No.
left? Right is higher flame. And right is lower music. That's why.
All right.
I got confused.
You cook too often.
I cook more than I twirled knobs. And by knobs,
In England, yeah,
I
that's
mean
gonna go over
dicks.